It's Malibu, it's Malibu what? It's Malibu, it's Malibumulaa. Hey, what's up guys? So before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to part of Malibu Gang. Cause we with the gang, you're lame because you know you want to come hang with the family, and make sure to turn on your post notifications. Okay, so I am here with Mama Bear, aka Miss Elaine.
Come on and show me some love. Check out my channel, Miss Elaine.
So today I asked y'all on Snapchat, Instagram to send me questions that y'all were always afraid to ask your moms. So I'm gonna ask my mom because I know she's gonna give the real blunt answers. Okay.
Honesty is the true thing. Along with our family. We'll always want to be in the camera.
Go. Then go. Alright, ready? First question somebody asked, how old were you when you lost your virginity, and what age do you think is the perfect time to lose it?
When did I lose my virginity?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't in my business like that. I've been in the business, in the Kool-Aid, like that.
And what age do you think is appropriate to lose it?
I lost my virginity. Now, mind you, I am 50-something years old. 57, I'm not gonna be blind, I'm 57 years old. So, we're talking about when did I lose my virginity. Remember, this is a different time zone too, so it wasn't like, you know, you could go to your parents and talk about sex or anything like that. So for me, I lost my virginity when I was 16. And mind you, we didn't have sweet 16 parties, so I was 16. Yeah, well, I was 16. I know, because I graduated. Well, maybe I could have been between 16. I could have been 17. Because remember, I'm Scorpio. So
yeah.
I was much older when I graduated. I was already 18 when I was graduating from high school. So I could have been 17. So I was at a good age.
And what age do you think is appropriate?
The appropriate age, I feel, there really is, well, I was going to say there is no appropriate age because, like I said, we living in a different time zone. Y'all know everything about everything and everything. So, I would think with proper training and with all going on, because y'all really don't know what y'all doing, I would think the proper age would be 16. After you didn't learn about STDs, condoms, and know what you're doing. Because like I said, y'all be all here thinking y'all having sex and don't have a clue about what y'all doing. Not a damn thing. Oh, I'm sorry, forgive my language. This is PG.
So the next question is, how did you get through your first heartbreak, and what advice would you give to your daughter or a friend?
Woo! Heartbreak. We're gonna go through them. We're gonna go through a lot of heartbreaks. Hey, and how do you handle them? Oh man. Well, with me, in the family that I grew up in. See, I come from a family of 9. So therefore, there was easy. We were close. We were close in age. So therefore, you know, you break up with somebody, you didn't have time to sit around and sob about it because your nosy sister or your nosy brother or your nosy cousin would be asking like, oh, why are you so quiet? What's wrong with you? So therefore, you really didn't have that much time to even face the fact that you just broke up with somebody. So for me, when I broke up with somebody or somebody broke up with me, most of the day I broke up with them. I didn't go to that, but I didn't give them an opportunity. Let me see. Like I said, it's really, you know, I was different. You know, that's a really hard question, honestly. That's a really hard question because, see, I was into a lot when I was in high school because, like I said, when I got my first boyfriend, I was in high school. And I lost my virginity when I was in high school. And therefore, I was in a lot of that. I was in cheerleading, I was into the football, I was into basketball. So, you know, and I came from a era, once again, where, you know, I high school is everything. You know, that was our family, that was our community. So therefore, you know, you didn't have time to be thinking about, you know, relationships are going bad or relationships are going good. So when I did break up with the dude that I was going out with, I was with another relationship. I was with another relationship while I was dating him. So it was just like, I had two relationships going on at the same time. I didn't have time. I really can't answer that question. I didn't have time to try to get over that relationship that I just got out of because I was into another relationship. You know what I'm saying? So
what would be your advice that you're
So my advice is like, especially if you're young, don't get too deep in it. And I guess that's what it was. I wasn't deep in it to really express my feelings. Like, you know, girls be like, oh, he broke up with me, and you know, you're soaking and whatever, what I'm gonna do. Don't get too far involved in that relationship, especially when you're young. I mean, like when you're 14, 13, hopefully you're not in a relationship by that age, but you know, y'all probably is. You know, you get so wrapped up in those relationships, and it's just like, come on, girl, dude, like, you're like, hello, and you're what? You better go on go back out there and try to find something else. Oh wait, you got so much in life. You're gonna go through so many breakup, makeup relationships. It's crazy. I know somebody you're saying like, you know, he's my only one, she's my only one. No, baby girl, baby boy, ain't even like that. Too young. Don't get deep in it. Don't get too wrapped up in it. Don't be saying he's my world or she my world. Just say he my boyfriend, she my girlfriend. If we break up, if we make up, whatever, and keep it moving.
Okay, the next question was being in your 20s hard?
Being in my 20s, when I was in my 20s, I just got out of high school. Being in my 20s was hard because I didn't go to college. I wasn't molded into college material. So being in my 20s, I was confused because once I graduated from high school, I remember I just laid in the bed and said, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So I just got up one day and just went and applied for a job. I don't even care remember what that job was, and went to work. So now when I be thinking back, you know, as you get older, you think back like, oh wow, you know, I wish I would have went to college. You know, I wish I would have got a trade or something like that. But you know, being in your 20s, you can be confused, especially if you don't have, you know, a good support system to guide you, like to ask you the question. That's what it was. I wasn't asked questions like, oh, what are you gonna do when you graduate from high school? Or what are you gonna do when you get out of high school? Or what are you gonna do when you're 20? Or what are you gonna do when you're gonna be 21? Those questions was never asked, so therefore I had no plans. And that's the worst thing is, you know, graduate from high school. Even though you graduate from high school, you're probably like 18, 19, but I'm talking about as you further along, when you hit that 20 line and you like saying like, okay, you're still trying to figure out. Yeah, you are gonna try to figure out what you're gonna do at 20. You should be figuring out what you're gonna do, because even once you go to college, you're out of college like 20, 21. Okay, I'm through with college, what am I supposed to do? Just get a job and that's my life? So yeah, it's confusing. You will be confused if you don't have a plan. But why should you have a plan? You're like only 20. You shouldn't even really have a plan about, you know, pretty much what you're gonna do. So it's in question.
The next question is, what's your opinion on sex toys and how old do you think a girl or a guy should purchase one?
First of all, I love sex toys. Let's be straight. Let me sit up. Let me be straight. This is mature audience only. So if you got any little kids, please move them.
All my audience is very mature.
Okay, so let me tell you about sex toys. Having a dildo, it works. It works. Because if you ain't never had an orgasm, you're gonna have one with your toy. Okay, trust. What age? Well, the rightful age, I would say, to get an appropriate one would be 21. Because see, now you're able to get into, you know, into those sex toys stores, or to be able to order them online. So I'm very blunt. I talk to my daughters. They can say ew or whatever. But, you know, I think every woman should have a sex toy. And guys too. Because, like I said, y'all don't know what y'all be doing half the damn time anyway. So, but For females, yeah, get you one. Get you one. Sit it up in a medicine cabinet like a medicine bottle. So you know, and because you know, everybody go in your bathroom, they're always looking in your medicine cabinet. So yup, you have that damn thing sitting right up in that medicine cabinet, letting everybody know, yup, that's what I use, that's what I need. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing to feel embarrassed about it. And I think 21 is the good age to start, you know, experimenting with it. Especially if you're a virgin, and you know, that'll be your best friend. And most of the time, if you ain't had an orgasm, then shit, you ain't never had sex. So, that's my question on that, my answer on that one.
Is true love real?
True love is real. It's real, but it takes a while. Don't think that first relationship, I'm very optimistic. You may run into true love with that first person that you know, really have a good time, but you got to think about it. Just because you're in love with that person doesn't mean that person's in love with you. So you got to understand that, and vice versa. That person could be in love with you, but you may not be in love with that person. So it's kind of like, it's like, you know, one of those things that goes up and down. I don't know what they are. The scale. It's like that. You know, you have to just play on it and see what happens in the end. You know, there's no perfect relationship. Nobody can sit down and write no book about a perfect relationship. It's gonna have its ups and downs, and you ride along like you ride through a storm. And if you make it through the storm, you're all right. But trust and believe, there's gonna be another storm. So, you know, you just gotta go with the flow of it. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say there's true love, because you may be true love a year and a half, 6 months, who knows? And then that may just go out the door, because after, you know, once you really start to get to know the person, that's the whole point. So I want to say, if there is a such thing as true love, it's only because you've gotten to know that person, and that person has gotten to know you. And then from that point, you all make that decision. Is it going to work or is it not going to work?
Okay, the next question is, how do you get over depression?
Depression is very hard to get over, regardless of what the situation may be. Therapy. If you're depressed, seek therapy. Get somebody that don't know you. Get somebody that don't know your family or don't know anything about you in any particular way. It has to be somebody that just don't absolutely know you. Somebody who just don't give a damn about you. That's your therapy right there. Because that person's gonna come out bluntly and tell you what your problem is. What your problem is. And you're going to deny it, of course, but some of it, what the person said, you're going to take it and say, you know what, yeah, I may have to change something. We all need to change something about ourselves. But, you know, that's just something that you have to work within. It's totally something that you have to work within.
The next question is, how do you know when you have real friends?
I ain't never had one. I never had one. And if I had one, it always was an opposite. True friends will be there. As I would describe for myself to have a true friend, I would need somebody that would be there through thick and thin. Like almost more so, I couldn't even say a sister. I don't know. They would just have to be that person that just know me with a wink of an eye. You know, it's always that true friend that said, I know you. Don't sit here and lie to me. Or that person ain't right for you. You know, that's a friend. A friend's gonna change it. That person ain't right for you. You know, we always take it that my friend's probably jealous of my relationship, or my friend's jealous of me, and whatever the case may be. But sometimes friends, if your real friend's gonna come to you because they're coming to you straight up because they know you 100%. And when I mean 100%, when you have a true friend is a person that would fucking ride and die. When I say ride and die, that true friend would see a car speeding down the street and would push you out the way and almost get themselves killed just to save your life. Now, I can't put it no other way.
When do you think is the right time for your partner to meet your parents?
I think the right time for that person, or for my daughters, from my experience with my daughter, I think the right time for them to introduce me to a young man is when they feel that, you know, this is a person that I'm gonna stop bringing around my family, you know, because we're in a relationship. We're in a relationship. It's time for me to bring them into my family. I don't prefer my kids to ever bring somebody around me that they feel that's not going to be. And I know you can have guy friends as friends, straight up friends, just like vice versa. Guys can have females as just friends. But if I see my daughter consistently going out, or my son consistently going out with the same person time and time over and over, and then eventually I'm gonna say, like, you know, are you dating her? Like, what's up? You know, something like that. And then, you know, they come and say, okay, I'm gonna, you know, I think it's time for me to bring him or her around because, you know, we are thinking about moving this more, you know, moving this relationship more, and I want this person to be around you, be comfortable. So, you know, I feel comfortable if they just, you know, wait and see what's gonna happen. I don't want them to bring somebody to me and then, you know, 3 weeks down the line, you know, okay, where's such and such? Oh, it didn't work out. Okay, I was feeling comfortable. I opened up to this stranger. Now he got all my damn information, know what I look like and shit. You know,
Next question, why do men cheat?
Cause they're dogs, men are dogs, straight up, men are dogs. No, it's just their nature, it's just nature. Okay, when it comes down to men, lady, it is in their nature. It's way after Adam and Eve. Men have always had more than one woman. That's just, it's a seed, you know what I'm saying? A seed, it grows. And if it breaks off, it keeps growing. Well, that's how it has been. Men have never ever had one woman. They have had one main chick and they have side chicks on the side. So I don't know why women be getting all upset about men cheating on them. It's not even considered cheating. It's just that men just have an urge. They have an urge that, even as a wife, you know, there's just something that I ain't gonna do. I think that I'm not gonna do with my husband where he feel okay. And some men will even respect their wives or girlfriend and say, you know, I don't want her to do that, but I have this, you know how the words they be using. I'll have her do that. Because I have so much respect for the woman that I'm with, I don't want her to do that. But this whatever tramp, what they want to call her, I have her do that. But you know, in public, let's keep it real. But in public, even though you're that side chick, I will be on the arm. I'm the one going to the parties. I'm the one that going to the cookouts. I'm the one that's going to the social events. I'm the one he's laying home at night and waking up and putting a roof over my head and putting food on my table and money in my pocket. You're just getting the scraps, honey. You're just getting the scraps. So if you want to be the scrap lady, you be the scrap lady. But you gotta understand, that's just how men is. They don't know what they, put it this way, they don't know what they working with. Just because it swings in the front of them, they don't know what the hell it's swinging at, because they don't know what they working with. If they knew what they was working with, don't you think they would be with just one woman? They can't, because they don't know what they working with. And especially if they don't know what they working with, they can get any woman that's this lady and say, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
Next question. When is the right time to get an apartment, and when did you get your first apartment?
So I come from a family of 9, and I was truly a daddy's girl, and so therefore it was very hard. I had my first son. It was very hard for me to move out of my parents' house, but of course, you know, when you have your first kid, you just want to take that initiative and be an adult. So I moved out of my parents' house at the age of 22. And this is just me, because the fact of the matter, I had already had a kid. Had I not had my kid, I probably would never have moved out of my parents' house, because I love my father to death. But I moved out at the age of 22. No, I had my son. So 23. I moved out at the age of 23. So basically what I'm saying, like, if you feel not to need to move out of your parents, I mean, your parents are fine for you to live with them. You live with your parents as long as you can. I mean, why not? But if you feel that you want to move out on your own, just make sure you got a secure job. First thing, make sure you got a secure job. I ain't talking about driving no Uber. I ain't got nothing just about driving Uber, doing Uber Eats. But in reality, that's not gonna cut it. But as long as you got a secure job, you know, making some money to maintain whatever apartment that you can afford. Mind you, remember, to afford. Don't try to go out here and try to live a life that you damn well know you can't live. Cause working at McDonald's, I ain't got nothing problem about. No, I ain't got no problem working at McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. But your ass should not be working at Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's and working and living in a $25,000 apartment. Cause you know damn well you can't afford it. So don't break the pocket trying to live like the Joneses. I don't even think the Joneses were like. But you know, first of all, like I said, you want to just make sure you have foundation, security, and that's about the money. Keep that credit good. You know, I always tell Jada, you know, you can buy things, but you can buy things with cash. Don't get yourself all wrapped up in that credit. You know, like I said, nobody never told me that, and I got mine wrapped up in that credit. And you know, at the age of 57, I'm still, you know, I don't even know what it is to have good credit, because I'm still trying to manage and get my credit to being good. It takes a while. It doesn't help. You know, it's no problem them giving you that credit card and you run it up. The problem is trying to pay the credit card and pay it on time so you won't get bad credit. So if you don't have no credit, don't get it. I mean, if you do get credit card, just get one. There's no need of you having 3, 4. Get one and just pay it. When the bill comes, pay it. You know what I'm saying? So therefore you can get an apartment, because nowadays that's what they look for. When you get an apartment, they look for your credit. They look for the credit. Especially if you want a nice apartment, they look at that credit. They don't care what kind of money you make. You can be making good money, but if that credit ain't good, they're gonna say, sorry, your credit's messed up. How we know you won't pay our rent? Evidently you have problems somewhere along the line. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's no rightful good age to say to move out. It's just move out when you feel you are ready, meaning that you got a good financial plan. You got a little bit of money put away. And that you know, okay, I can go out here and I can make it at least a year. You want to at least try to make it a year.
The next question is, how did you tell your parents you was pregnant, and what advice would you give to a girl?
Oh man, why you gotta ask me that question for?
The girls want to know, because they, you know, some girls, they don't know how to like tell their parents, like, I'm pregnant. Like, how would you feel if I came to you like, Mom, I'm pregnant?
I would probably, who is it? You always want to find who is it? Who the baby dad? And then I ask you, like, what are you gonna do? But for me, being that I was the quiet, unnoticeable child and out the family, kind of so say, my whole thing was, when I got pregnant, the only thing that bothered me the most was telling my father. My father was my world. And telling him that I was pregnant, not married. First of all, not married, pregnant, and only 22 years old. It's just like, I kept my pregnancy hidden. Because like I said, I was still living with my parents. And I kept my pregnancy hidden. I kept it, at least I thought I kept it hidden. I believe my mother knew, because my mother was nosy. But she would never come to me and say, are you pregnant? So I thought I kept my pregnancy, you know, hidden by wearing big shirts, because the only thing was the only thing I felt was me telling my father that I was pregnant. So I get my first pregnancy, God forgive me, but I did not enjoy my first pregnancy because I tried to keep it hidden as long as I could, until finally, where I was probably like 8 months pregnant, and I was a very, very thin girl, 127 pounds, if that. Now here I am with this big belly. I can't like really like hide it under a sweatshirt or big sweaters or anything. And I went to work and did things like I normally did, where I had to tell my mother, or actually my mother did, and I believe through the assistance of her oldest sibling telling her that I was, after she probably looked at me. And my mother asked me and I told her, yeah, I was. And she had asked me, who was the father, and I told her who was the father of my child. And you know, she didn't embrace me or tell me like, you know, I knew, or I had a speculation. She didn't do anything like that. She just asked me the question, and you know, I was relieved that she asked me because I knew she was going to tell my father. And you know, it was never spoken again. Never spoken again. It was never spoken again about my pregnancy. I went on about my life. Came day of my delivery. Niggas dropped me off the hospital last night. They bum rushed me, dropped me off the hospital, boned out. I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do? They literally dropped me off. It's funny now, but they dropped me off at the hospital. When I went into labor, they dropped me off at Boston Medical, which was known Boston City back then. They dropped me off at the ER. I walked in, I told them I'm having a baby. They registered me. They put me in a wheelchair. They took me through the House of Horrors because they had like tunnels. I don't know where the hell I was at. And then they took me upstairs to the delivery room. I was by myself, no parents, no baby daddy. And next day, you know, they told me to push. I ain't had no epidural, nothing. And I pushed my son out, and they said, only thing I do remember, they said, oh, it's a boy in my heart. Because I knew I had to name, I was gonna have to name my son after his father, because his father had been big old stinker. Like, oh, we have a boy, it's gonna be, you know, So when they told me it was a boy, I was like, gotta name my son after his father. And that was it. That was it. That's my story. So once again, but like I said, we grew up in a different era. You know, when I was growing up, it was just, you know, you wasn't very open like you would be with me to come to me and say, Mom, I'm pregnant. I wasn't, you know, I grew up in a time frame where you just wasn't open about that. You wasn't open about pregnancy. You wasn't open about birth control. You wasn't open about your period. You wasn't about sex. You know, you just didn't talk about those things to your parents. You just didn't. You talked among your siblings, you know, but you didn't talk to your parents about them. Even like with menopause, you know, I wanted to find out about menopause. Like, when did my mother have menopause? When did my older siblings? They thought it was a curse. They was like that, Satan, that. Because they didn't want to, they felt, I don't know, they just felt that was something for them to talk to me about. I was just asking, when did y'all start menopause? And they just thought it was a curse. Where I'm very open and frequently. If my two younger sisters came to me and asked, I said, yeah, I started menopause, and this is the age I started, and this is, you know, the hot flashes and da 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 da. You know, I'm very open, but like I said, once again, I can't sit and complain because it was just a different time era that we lived in, and you know, just things you just did not talk about among your family, you know.
Okay, and the last question was, how do you find your true identity? Like, how do you find out like who you are?
Hitting me with some good ones.
These are what the people ask. Like, how do you find yourself? Like, does it take a long time? Do you find yourself like? Well, I know you told me you.
Is there a therapist in the house? Is there a therapist in the house? Because I'm going to tell you, I grew up, like I said, y'all going to hear, I grew up in a family of 9. Family of 9, I was the 7th child. I suffered from identity crisis. Because, Lord, if you weren't the oldest, and if you weren't the youngest, and if you wasn't the baby boy, so you could be like Susie Mary Jane. Mary Susie Jane? You're Mary. Nope, you're Susie. Nobody could ever get my name right. Never. They never got my name right. It was just a life of living in total dark. And you know, not only big families, but small families too. You get favored. You get, you know, your parents, I don't think they do it intentionally. I don't know, but they do pick out sometimes their favorites. And you know, that's, you try to figure out like what is it that they're doing that you're not doing? How are they getting noticed? You're not getting noticed. You know, that's a tough one, because once again, that was something that I went through a long in my lifetime. I just want to say probably from probably about junior high to way up in adulthood, maybe up until probably like
you told me your 30s.
To my 30s, my late 30s actually. That's when I initially took a stand about, you know, I just gotta come out of my shell and be recognized. And that was like the best thing that ever happened, man. When I came out of my shell and started verbally talking and just changing my whole plan about myself and how to, you know, connect with people, which I never had a problem. It's just I just never did. And you know, I had people coming from all faces of the earth, you know, doing things. I was so involved in different things, so involved with different people, and you know, really, I want to say have my siblings more so looking at me, following me, because I would lure, you know, able to lure people to me. I mean, I had something in me that I didn't know I had. You know, it was something that I had to soul search, you know, and break out that circle that I was living in, you know. And I think that's where a lot of my depression came from, because my identity crisis really took a hold of me, where I had to like find out who I was. And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight, because like I said, I had to be in my late 30s when I realized, you know, who I am and what kind of person I am and how to address myself to people, how I carry myself to people, how I talk to people, got me to, you know, to who I am and the kind of person I am today. So that's basically how I, you know, came out of that thing. I mean, it is still work in progress, but I think I got over a lot of those so-called demons that I was carrying. And now that it has made me a better person for myself and for my family.
And
quoted.
Me and my mother are very close. So
yeah, ride and die. You know, it's so funny that this person, Mula, she is so much like me. It's like we literally bump heads. We bump heads, trust me, because I mold her. You know, as parents, you don't realize how you mold your child. I done mold this child so much like me that I can't stand her. I love her. But I mold her so much like me. It's like, oh God, you know, what did I create? I don't want, you know, and I can't, it ain't like a TV. Well, back in my day, we had a TV that you could just, you know, turn the knobs and press the button. No, it ain't like that. It's not like that. It's like, she's like me. It's terrible. It's bad enough our birthdays in the same month. That makes it so damn bad. It's like our birthdays in the same month. It's like, what, 4 days?
4 days, yeah.
4 days apart. And it's just like, I didn't mold her into me because she has taken what I have said. And it's all for the good, but you know, don't use it against me. You know what I'm saying? Don't use it against me. I trained you. I trained you. Don't use it. Well, I trained you against me. That's what you don't do. But you know, it's all good. It's all good. Like, I'm like, if you got a good mother-daughter, father-daughter relationship, I think, you know, you continue, if you don't have it, you know, continue working on it. My best bud passed away, and like I said, he was my number one fan. He was so true, and you know, he molded me to who I am. Because, you know, I had my own mind, my own thoughts, my own feel, and that's a lot what I believe you have. You know, you have your own mind, your own thoughts and things like that. Like, she, you know, even with me, like I said, if I may say something and she don't agree, then, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, why she ain't following my lead? Because that's something that I would do. You know, that's something I would definitely do. I would just say like, that ain't right. That ain't how, you know, that's not how I feel. And I'm glad she feels that way. I'm glad she thinks like that, because that's how I am.
Alright guys, so this is the end of the video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Malibu gang. If you're with the gang, you're lame because you know you want to come hang with the family lame. Make sure you turn on your post notifications and make sure you go subscribe to my mother's channel, Miss Elaine. Her channel will be in the description below. Have a nice Thursday.